Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. Now, you may find this hard to believe, but I'm actually a philosopher. That's right, folks, a philosopher. I have a philosophy degree from York University with economics as well. Economics and philosophy are my major minor. And I talk about philosophy a lot during my shows because I think philosophy is one of those things that underlies many things, and it's one of these things that we seem to forget about. In fact, one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to be a philosopher when I was in high school, and I actually went to the office where, what was it, the career office or something like that? I forget what they called it. And I said to them, I want to become a philosopher. And they said, great. Did you know what philosophers do? You know what kind of jobs people get if they major in philosophy in school? They get jobs as philosophy teachers. So philosophy teachers teach philosophy teachers who teach philosophy teachers, and so on and so on and so forth. There's no such thing as a professional philosopher anymore, and I disagree with that. I think we should have chief philosophy officers, considering all of the ethics violations many corporates take. Because ethics is part of philosophy, and there really needs to be more philosophy in leadership, at least from what I believe. But one of the central questions of philosophy, and one of the central questions of philosophy is, what is truth? What is truth? And nowadays, we seem to have stepped away from even the concept of truth. We've stepped away from the concept of anything being true or false. We no longer have a conception of reality, right? Objective reality or truth seems to have completely slipped through our fingers. We no longer believe in anything because everything that has come to us, I mean, I think I said this before, is that we don't really perceive the natural world directly like we used to. I mean, prior to COVID, you'd be able to see in-person things. I mean, you'd have to believe what people told you, people who were observant on the ground seeing things. You'd have to believe that these things were true. They could have been true because they were there. But we experience everything through a screen now. We experience everything through this screen. And everything through this screen, means that everything that we experience through the screen has to have a middleman, because the middleman does something with what's experienced through the screen. So for example, I'm recording this video in my office in Silicon Valley. It's stored on my hard drive, and then I upload it to YouTube, and you're watching it on YouTube. If you weren't watching, you were probably watching it on YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, YouTube is the middleman, and they're the ones who are deciding whether or not you're allowed to see this video, which is on what is truth, right? I could say truth is A or B, but if it's something that YouTube doesn't want you to see, if they don't believe that it's true, then they will say it's misinformation, it's untrue, and they will block it. They will take the video down. See what I'm saying? So we now have middlemen determining what is truth. Now, some people could argue that we always had middlemen determining truth. We always had middlemen. We always had the press. We always had the media. Even back in the 20s and when newspapers were around, everything that you see printed in these newspapers, it wasn't necessarily true. It wasn't necessarily true. We've had false journalism. We've had yellow journalism. We've had fake journalism forever. Now it's just easier and easier to fake things. So look at what are these deep fake videos where you can take anybody and place them into a scene and make them look like they're doing anything at all. We have gotten to the point where truth no longer exists to people. And I find that unfortunate because there still are truths in the world. Now, some people argue the Hegelian dialectic that there is no such thing as a truth. There is no such thing as objective reality. Everyone lives in their own reality and they're just piled on top of each other, and there is no underlying reality to everything. And unfortunately, I have to say to you that that's not true. The truth is that there is truth. There is an underlying objective reality to everything. And the closer we get to the underlying objective reality, then the closer we get to the truth. give you an example, okay? We, as human beings, we need to eat. That is a truth. If we do not eat, then we will expire. We will die. We will get weak and we will die. We need to intake nutrients and eventually we will die if we don't take any in. I mean, that is objective reality. That is true, right? So there are things. If there is one thing that is true in the world, I mean, that's just an example of many, 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 many things. If you jump off a tall building, gravity will bring you to the ground relatively quickly. That's another truth. There are objective truths in the world. We just need to figure out how best to uncover these objective truths, right? So there's my challenge to you. Is there some way for us to develop some kind of service, some kind of layer, some kind of platform that allows us to determine the actual truthfulness of some fact? Can we actually say that this is information, this is misinformation? Can we say that this is a fact, this is not a fact? If anyone's able to build this type of solution and make it believable and make it real, then you've got $1 billion business.